The great Van Wilder, aka Ryan Reynolds, once said, "If you take life too seriously, you won't get out alive." So last night, Bill Burr, one of my favorite comedians, hosted SNL. And I remember seeing some of the promo pictures that came out earlier in the day. I haven't been super up to date with him the past few weeks, and I saw his picture on it, and this surprised me because Bill Burr, I don't know if you know who he is. He's a comedian. He's been around for a while, but he is very much known for having very unpolitically correct comedy. And if we know anything about mainstream media, it's they are not a huge fan of unpolitically correct anymore. But SNL had him on last night. He did his monologue, he did sketches. I thought it was brilliant. But not everyone agreed. Thus proves the fact that the super left has no sense of humor, and they just ruin everything. They ruin comedy, they ruin Hollywood, they ruin sports, they ruin journalism. Just about everything. But I'm going to show you a clip of his monologue, one of the things that people freaked out about. Then we're going to go on Twitter, see some great reactions, and I'll give you a little bit of my own opinion. So during his monologue, he sort of went after a lot of things. He made fun of COVID, he made fun of cancel culture, and then he made fun of white liberal women. And not all of them were super happy about it. So I'll play you that little clip and then we'll talk.
Tell you, the way white women somehow hijack the woke movement, generals around the world should be analyzing this.
So that was Bill. Now let's go to the Twitter cesspool and see what they had to say. Okay, Sally says, made it about 1 minute into Bill Burr's SNL monologue before I had to change the channel. In this cultural moment, SNL really thought its best choice for a host was a white male stand-up ranting about cancel culture, because if you are a white male, you are not allowed to have any opinion on anything whatsoever. Sit down, white male. Feminist Next Door says, Bill Burr is trash and has always been trash, not because he doesn't raise valid criticism in some of his comedy, but because he has always leveraged his ability to point them out to the detriment of change and the benefit of himself. And he can F off into the sun for it. Yikes. Okay, the red-handed libertarian said, Bill Burr called out entitled rich liberal women last night in the opening monologue on SNL, and entitled rich liberal women have never been more mad at their entitled rich liberal white lives than they are right now at Bill Burr. I think that was my favorite one. I actually meant for that to be a bad one. That one was supposed to be last. But we'll just throw that one in there. That was my favorite one. Okay, just a few more. No, this one's pretty good. Critical thinking is a cop says, well, that just told us everything we need to know. Your Twitter handle is critical thinking is a cop. Thus the problem. Critical, rational thinking skills / sense of humor seem to be missing with a certain demographic for whom I'm not going to name. But let's see what this person said. Again, white men do the literal least and even F it up. But I'm going to watch people applaud Bill Burr for calling women B words. I call BS. Yikes. Okay, we'll read one more. What? Okay. One more. Bill Burr and Chris Rock. How did he get into this? What did he do recently? Did I miss something? Bill Burr and Chris Rock can go F themselves. Of course they could. Of course, if they could, they wouldn't have to hate the women who don't want to F them so much. That much misogyny on SNL 2 in a row shows they have gone back to their old ways of woman hate. Good job, writer's room. Okay, so Chris Rock must have hosted the week before, and I guess he's a misogynist now. I must have missed something. But actually, on that tweet, can I just make a point? First of all, I don't know if you've seen Bill Burr's wife. She's beautiful. And then Chris Rock, I don't know who he's dating right now, but I actually saw him at the Comedy Store here in LA about a year ago, and he was there with his girlfriend, and they seemed very much in love, and she was a very beautiful, seemed like a very nice woman. I just don't think these two men are hurting in that department, if you know what I mean. But here's my opinion. This is comedy. The whole point of comedy is to sometimes take those things that we all kind of see, that we all kind of think about, and bring them to light and make fun of them. And sometimes my favorite comedy are things that make fun of the things that I do. I'm like, oh my God, that's I do that all the time. What a dodo bird. Like, that's my favorite. And I've done stand up before. I'm not saying I was any good at it whatsoever, and it was terrifying. And I have a lot of respect for people that do it. But one of the first things I did was I would get out on stage and make fun of myself. I would make fun of my voice, my appearance, everything about me. That is what comedy is. And these people have no sense of humor. And I think one of the reasons why they're so mad is because they know it's kind of true. I actually, and this is a joke, so don't get mad at me for saying it, but I was having a conversation with someone about a week ago, and I was making the joke that, you know, I used to be a Democrat 2016. I started doing my own research, and I changed my entire point of view. And I would joke with people and take them down the journey of my research. And I was like, you know, when I first started doing research, I thought the decline of Western civilization was going to be radical Islam, and then the more I studied, the more that I'm sure now the decline of Western civilization is in fact liberal white women, which is a complete joke. But that kind of goes with what Bill was saying, and the reason people make fun of liberal white women is because they're the loudest. And I'm friends with a lot of these individuals, and they seem to be the most privileged and live the most comfortable lives out of most, and yet speak for demographics that maybe don't necessarily want to be spoken for, and want to help in ways that don't actually help the demographics they're speaking for. So it's sort of this like shallow, narcissistic, nauseating form of virtue signaling, and that's why people make fun of them, and that's why some of these women maybe are a little bit triggered. I don't know. What do you guys think? I thought this whole thing was pretty funny. I really enjoyed Bill Burr's monologue. If you don't know who he is, or if you haven't watched the monologue, check it out. You might like it too. I am a fan of offensive comedy. You can make fun of me. I'm not going to get mad. I want to make fun of you. I think comedy and laughter and making fun of each other are kind of things that bring us closer together. I didn't see anything terribly offensive in his monologue. Did you? Let me know what you guys think. Bye.